Hello, scholars, to week 6 of POL452 Organizational Theory and Design. Well, I hope we had a successful week 5 as we now transition into week 6. And the topic of this week is leading change, that ever so important concept of leadership we're going to be speaking of this week. Now, we understand that there are entire courses that are revolve around leadership. There are entire programs that revolve around leadership. And yet we're going to take 1 week to introduce some concept of leadership and apply them. And we understand that anytime we start talking about organizational theory and especially the design and changing an organization, we understand there's always going to need to be a leadership component that's associated with that. The leader is going to be the one that is going to be able to make the change within an organization. And that's going to be our focus this week. So as we look in this week, we understand there's a reading, and then we have a journal, a discussion board, and a quiz. So let's break each one of those down. So in our readings this week, we have the two texts, and I believe that if you've looked at the two texts up until this point, you've probably kind of, if you read like I do, you've probably found that the managing organizational behavior is much, what would we call it, maybe a drier read. And the Spectre text, the implementing organizational change with all the case studies and the flow, might be a little bit easier read or a more dynamic and exciting read. Well, this week, I really like what comes out of the SIMS, the Managing Organizational Behavior text. So when we look at that text this week, we're going to be in Chapter 9. And Chapter 9 is all about leading in the new economy. And what I really think you're going to like in this reading this week is I think it starts around page 224. And what it has is it has a brief history of the modern leadership theory. And it breaks down the leadership theory over time. I believe it picks it up in like the late 1800s and brings it forward. And what I find fascinating about it is it breaks down what was the importance, what was the focus in the when it comes to leadership from era to era to era as we move forward. And I really think that will be able to paint a picture for you as if we then reflect on what we think a great leader or an effective leader is today for us. So we can kind of look back and see through different eras and through different times how this leadership model has changed into our modern more leadership model. And then in the Spectre text, we're in chapter 7, which is once again leading change with some good case studies, which I think you will enjoy as well. So we have a couple PowerPoints that are associated with our text this week, like we have in the past. And then let's look at our Journal 4. So in our Journal 4 this week, remember you're going to be talking to me, and I want to take a different path, and I want to look at a little bit more of a spiritual connection. You know, here at Cal Baptist, we always want to integrate a Christian world perspective into all of our coursework. And this is just one of the opportunities that we're going to in this course to kind of just focus entirely on some Bible passages that can relate directly to this concept of leadership. And what I've done here is, just through in Bible times, you did hear the word, you did not hear the word team, and yet there are numerous examples of men and women working together to accomplish a common purpose. I've listed some following verses, and what I ask you is how do they relate to your concept of team building within our organizations today? And so I just threw together, or I found just a few passages that I thought would relate for you. Please you don't limit yourself to my quick search and maybe my limited ability to find good passages. You can definitely go beyond that. But what I want is how does our Christian perspective help us when it comes to the concepts of team and then that team relating into our modern organizational structure. So read through that, maybe search for something that you feel is more applicable. And once again, that's just going to be your journal entry to me this week on how do these concepts of team within your organization relate with our through our Christian lens. And I really look forward to reading that. The next is I have it's a little bit of a dated video, but it's dated for a reason, and I think once you watch this, you're going to understand. And this video it really focuses on credibility being the foundation of leadership, and that's going to tie into our discussion thread this week. And what it talks about in this discussion week on exemplary leadership, there's a discussion about what makes our most influential leaders. Maybe not so much who, but what makes the most influential leaders. And so, according to the speaker, who are they and why? And then I want you to share your thoughts in this and any other responses you have to the clip. And this is going to be a little bit open ended because they list quite a few attributes that make someone a influential leader, and maybe you could break down in those and say, in what I've noticed, this is what stands out as a good leader. This is what I find does not, and does this dated video apply to in today's world? So I'm looking forward to that. And once again, it's a discussion board. So your post and follow up with two of your classmates. You guys have been doing an excellent job on this. I've really admired the quality of work, and I can see it moving forward here in week 5 or here in week 6 in our discussion board or thread number 5. And then finally we have our quiz. So we have some multiple choice, true, false, and a short answer. So that is what our deliverables are for here for week 6. So I hope that all of us are moving through and being successful. I have nothing but praise for the quality of the work and your timeliness and your ability to manage deadlines. This has by far been the best class I've had when it comes to collectively everybody getting their work in on time and the quality of the work. So I've been very pleased with that. So let's continue that work. If you have any issues at all, get a hold of me. I remember I promised you last week I was going to throw together a quick critical assignment video, and I will try to get that in the first few days of this week. I apologize for not getting that last week. Hopefully for many of you, you have already started on your critical assignment, but I'll just make sure that we're all on the same page, and so that with a quick video this week, I'll get that out to you. With tonight being Sunday, deadlines today, I'll get your homework or all your coursework for week 5 graded as quickly as we can, probably by Monday or Tuesday of this week. And if you have any issues at all, get a hold of me. Give me an email, and I just hope that you all have a blessed week, and let's continue with the dedication and energy that I've witnessed through the first 5 weeks in the last few weeks of this course, and let's finish this off strong. So I look forward to reading all of your work, and you just all have a blessed week. So bye for now.